Yo, what's up world? It's Hassan Minhaj, and today we're diving deep into the economies of two Asian giants, South Korea and Japan. These ain't just your average countries, folks. They're economic powerhouses, shaping the global landscape. We're talking tech, cars, and enough economic jargon to make your head spin. But don't worry, I got you. We'll break it down, make it relatable, and maybe even throw in some jokes along the way. Think of it like this. Japan, the veteran, rose from the ashes of World War II to become an economic superpower. Then you got South Korea, the up-and-comer, sprinting to catch up with its own economic miracle. It's a classic underdog story, but with way higher stakes. We're talking trillions of dollars here, people. These two nations are like the Jay-Z and Kanye West of the global economy, both incredibly successful, but with their own unique styles and approaches. So buckle up, because we're about to explore the economic showdown between South Korea and Japan. Let's rewind the clock a bit, shall we? Post-World War II, both Japan and South Korea were in rough shape. Think bombed-out cities, struggling economies, the whole 9 yards. But what happened next? They pulled off some of the most impressive economic comebacks in history. Japan, with its focus on manufacturing and exports, became a global economic powerhouse. Think Sony, Toyota, Nintendo. These brands became synonymous with quality and innovation. They were killing it, basically. South Korea, not to be outdone, followed a similar path. They went from exporting wigs and textiles to churning out smartphones, cars and semiconductors. Samsung, Hyundai, LG. These names are now household names, competing with the best in the world. It's like watching two marathon runners, both starting way behind, but somehow managing to sprint their way to the front of the pack. Talk about economic miracles. Now, let's talk industries. Japan and South Korea are like two heavyweight boxers, constantly going toe-to-toe in key sectors. First up, technology. Japan was the undisputed king for decades. Sony Walkmans, anyone? But then came Samsung with their smartphones and LG with their OLED TVs, and suddenly South Korea was a major player. Then there's the automotive industry. Japan's Toyota, Honda, and Nissan have been global giants for years. But don't sleep on Hyundai and Kia. They've been quietly gaining ground, producing some seriously impressive cars. And let's not forget shipbuilding. South Korea is a shipbuilding powerhouse, constantly vying for the top spot with China. Japan, while not as dominant as it once was, still holds its own in this arena. The point is, these two countries are constantly pushing each other to innovate and excel. It's like a sibling rivalry, but on a global scale, with billions of dollars on the line. Behind every economic miracle, there's a set of smart policies guiding the way. Japan's post-war economic boom was fueled by government support for key industries, a focus on education and technology, and a culture of hard work and innovation. South Korea followed a similar playbook. They implemented export-oriented policies, invested heavily in education and infrastructure, and fostered the growth of massive conglomerates known as chaebols. Think Samsung, Hyundai, LG. These policies weren't without their critics, of course. Some argued that they led to too much government intervention in the market, while others pointed to the growing power of the chaebols as a potential concern. But hey, you can't argue with results, right? Both Japan and South Korea managed to transform themselves from war-torn nations into economic powerhouses. It's like they found the cheat codes to the global economy. Section 5. Number crunching. Economic scorecard of two giants. Alright, enough history lessons. Let's talk numbers. Japan, with a GDP of around $4.94 trillion, is still the bigger economy. They're the third largest in the world, after the US and China. South Korea, with a GDP of around $1.8 trillion, is no slouch either. They're the 10th largest economy globally and have been growing at an impressive rate. But here's the thing, Japan is facing some challenges. An aging population, a shrinking workforce, and a massive national debt are all putting pressure on their economy. It's like they're carrying a heavy backpack while trying to run a marathon. South Korea, on the other hand, has a younger population and a more dynamic economy. They're still dealing with income inequality and a rigid labor market. They're in a better position for long-term growth. Section 6. Future gazing. Opportunities and challenges on the horizon. So, what does the future hold for these two economic powerhouses? It's a mixed bag, to be honest. Japan is looking to reinvent itself. They're investing heavily in robotics, artificial intelligence, and renewable energy. They're also trying to attract more foreign investment and boost tourism. Think of it as a midlife crisis, but for a whole country. South Korea, meanwhile, is aiming to become a global leader in innovation. They're pouring resources into research and development, focusing on cutting-edge technologies like 5G, artificial intelligence, and biotechnology. They're like the ambitious younger sibling, hungry to prove themselves. Both countries, however, face similar challenges. Globalization, automation, and climate change are all disrupting the global economy. It's a whole new ballgame out there, and they'll need to adapt to stay ahead of the curve. Section 7. Chaebols versus ketsu. A tale of two business systems. One key difference between these two economic titans is how their businesses are structured. Japan has its ketsu, while South Korea has its chaebols. Sounds like something out of a Godzilla movie, right? Ketsu are these massive, interconnected groups of companies that often have shared ownership and work closely together. Think Mitsubishi, Sumitomo, Mitsui. They've got their fingers in everything from banking to cars to electronics. Chaebols, on the other hand, are more like family-controlled conglomerates. Samsung, Hyundai, LG. These are the big players, and they wield immense economic and political power in South Korea. Both systems have their pros and cons. Ketsu can be slow to adapt to change, while chaebols can be prone to corruption and a lack of transparency. It's like comparing a well-oiled machine to a powerful but unpredictable beast. Section 8. Innovation Nation. The battle for the next big thing. When it comes to innovation, both Japan and South Korea are playing for keeps. Japan, once the undisputed king of consumer electronics, is now facing stiff competition from its neighbor. South Korea, with its tech giants like Samsung and LG, is constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible. They're all about speed, agility, and bringing new products to market quickly. But Japan isn't going down without a fight. They're still leaders in robotics, automation, and materials science. They're also investing heavily in artificial intelligence and renewable energy. It's a high-stakes race to see who can dominate the industries of the future. Think self-driving cars, personalized medicine, and maybe even flying robots. Okay, that last one might be a stretch, but you get the idea. Section 9. Beyond GDP. Quality of life and social welfare. Look, GDP is important, but it doesn't tell the whole story. What about the quality of life? How do these economic powerhouses stack up when it comes to things like healthcare, education, and social welfare? Japan has a strong social safety net, with universal healthcare and a high standard of living. But they're also facing challenges with an aging population and rising inequality. South Korea, while catching up, still lags behind in some areas. They have a lower fertility rate than Japan, which means they're facing a demographic time bomb of their own. The point is, economic success is about more than just numbers. It's about creating a society where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. Section 10. East Asia's Powerhouses. A future of collaboration or competition. So, there you have it. The economic showdown between South Korea and Japan is a complex and constantly evolving story. They're rivals, sure, but they're also partners in many ways. Both countries benefit from trade and investment, and they face similar challenges in the global economy. They're also united by shared cultural values and a commitment to innovation. The future of East Asia, and indeed the world, depends on how these two economic giants navigate the challenges ahead. Will they continue to compete fiercely, or will they find ways to collaborate and build a more prosperous future together? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, it's going to be one heck of a ride. Peace out.